I think you guys can just go ahead and just disregard my last video about that 6-on-6 Survivor Series match that is not happening. It's like it was so funny. Right after I posted the video, I think like a day later or 2 days later, WWE announced the matches that they were gonna do, and I was like, oh, so they're not doing that totally awesome match that they set up on Raw. That was like this awesome ending to Raw. It's like, that's not the match they're doing. They're going to do another Survivor Series match, and the 6-on-6 is going to be the main event of the next Raw. Which is, you know, on one hand, I get the really cool match that I was totally willing to pay for free. It wasn't a Survivor Series match, but it was still a really cool main event on Raw this week, and really captured a lot of the aspects that I was looking for when I started thinking about this match and was hoping that they would do it. This is going to be a whole big preview of Survivor Series, even though there isn't really that much to cover, but I'll pull something out of my ass and make a video out of it. But the reason I prefer the 6-on-6 to the 5-on-5 that they're going to do at the pay-per-view is that it was just a more interesting dynamic. You had the added star power of CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, which really heightened it, in my opinion, and really raised the Wyatt's Punk and Bryan storyline a little bit higher. And not only did you have all the great tag teams involved, like the Usos and the Rhodes and the Shield and all that, just having the Shield and the Wyatts interact with each other is a really cool dynamic and a really cool idea, and really has me excited for a lot of different possibilities of, like, are they going to break out into a fight mid-match? Are they going to be able to work together as a team? And you saw that in the match on Raw, where they started off very aggressive towards each other and were at each other's throats, but as the match progressed, they became a more cohesive unit. So that's the interesting stuff that I was looking for in putting the Shield and the Wyatts together in a big match. And the match that they're doing at the pay-per-view, it's the Shield and the Real Americans versus a bunch of babyfaces. Rey Mysterio was announced as he's going to be the mystery partner that was originally set. The Rhodes and the Usos? Yeah, that's it. So it's almost the 6-on-6 that I wanted, but not quite. The reason I wanted the Shield and the Wyatts is because that to me is just a more interesting setup, and could lead to more interesting possibilities. You put the Shield and the Real Americans together, not that I'm bashing the Real Americans, but you know, all those questions that I have of when you put the Wyatts and the Shields together, it's like, are they going to stab each other in the back? If they get into a fight, what's going to happen? Whatever. That isn't there with the Real Americans. If the Real Americans turn on the Shield, it's not going to mean much because A, the Shield outnumber them, and B, the Shield is going to beat the ever-living piss out of them. You don't view the Real Americans as like this ungodly threat or this really fierce force. Again, not that I'm putting them down. That's just the way they've been booked. They don't have the same kind of awe factor to them that the Wyatts do, or that the Shield currently has. It's just not there. And putting them together with the Shield, it doesn't have that same instant spark of intrigue. Not that the Survivor Series match will be bad. I think, you know, even though they didn't do the 6-on-6 I wanted, you look at the Survivor Series cards, like, you know, that 5-on-5 might still be the best match on the show. Just because of the talents involved, it could be like a really exciting match. And I stand by, you know, they haven't done a really good Survivor Series match in a long time at Survivor Series. It's been a while. The last good one that I can think of was the Raw versus SmackDown one from 2005. So it's been a long time since there's been a really good one, and that one could still be good. I just don't think it has the same punch to it that the 6-on-6 had. But yeah, I would hope the Shield would win that one. I would give that to the Shield, at least, just to kind of keep them going as this strong force. Other matches on the card, we got Punk and Bryan versus Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. Are those their names? I think I keep getting their names mixed up, but it's going to be CM Punk and Daniel Bryan versus the Wyatts, and you know, again, it's kind of why the 6-on-6 was so good. This match kind of feels like a step down from the Raw match, and that's kind of, you know, that's kind of disappointing, especially when you're asking me to pay $50 to watch this show. And no, I'm not going to be ordering Survivor Series, and I'm not going to be watching it because I was going to when I thought the 6-on-6 was going to happen, but then when it wasn't, I was like, yeah, I can save my money. Don't need to be spending my money on that. It really reminded me of when TNA was doing the Motor City Machine Guns Beer Money Best of 5 series, and that was just an awesome series of matches. I was like, oh, dude, they're going to do the finals at a pay-per-view, and I'm so going to pay for it. Shut up and take my money. Oh, you're doing that ECW reunion show that nobody gives a shit about, and I'm going to get the Best of 5 finals for free on TV. Well, okay, you're not getting my money. Okay, that's fine. Which I appreciate getting great stuff for free. I'm not going to lie. I'm just saying, you kind of undercut the pay-per-view when you did that. Really killed my incentive to order the show. I assume Punk and Bryan are going to win the tag match. Getting back to the actual matches, I think Punk and Bryan are probably going to win that, and that's fine. I wouldn't be complaining about that match had they not set up the 6-on-6 match. Had they not had that awesome ending to Raw the week before, this wouldn't have even entered into my mind. I wouldn't be complaining about this match at all, because I think it's fine. I do like the Punk and Bryan versus Wyatt's feud. I just hope they give Punk and Bray Wyatt some back and forth time on the mic, because that's something that I've been waiting for, and it hasn't happened yet. So hopefully they get around to doing that at some point in this storyline. So we shall see. But I count on Punk and Bryan to win this one, and that's that. What else we got in the Survivor Series? We're getting the Divas match, 7-on-7, the Total Divas versus the non-Total Divas. I said, let me see if I can guess them all. I'm not entirely sure. Because again, I wasn't paying attention. I believe it's the Bellas, Natalya, the two new girls whose names I can never remember, and the Funkadactyls versus AJ Lee, Tamina, probably Oksana, Alicia Fox. Who are the other girls? I keep forgetting. Summer Rae. And fuck it, I'm not even gonna bother. Fuck it, not even gonna care. It don't matter. None of this matters. Anyway, first of all, I do have to talk about this on Raw, the musical chairs segment. And I have to bring this up because it was just so funny to me. Okay, let's pretend that it made complete sense to do a musical chairs segment in the middle of a wrestling show. I know that Eugene did one in 2004 when he was GM for a day or whatever, but that actually made sense because it fit within Eugene's character, so there was some context to it that made sense. This made no sense. It's like, oh, all country people play musical chairs. I'm like, no, children play musical chairs, but whatever. Let's pretend that made sense, and doing musical chairs as a serious competition between athletes is something that was worth doing on a wrestling show. Let's just pretend that was a worthwhile thing to do. Do the girls not know how to play musical chairs? Because they looked confused. And they looked like they were screwing it up. And I don't know how you botch musical chairs. That's just interesting to me. I don't know how you fuck that up. But anyway, the segment was terrible. I don't care about this match at all. You'd be hard-pressed to find a Divas match that anybody would truly care about. I guess I'll go with the Bellas to win. Their team, I guess. Just to kind of bring some closure to this, thing they've got going with AJ Lee or whatever. But whatever, I don't really care. Then we got Big E Langston defending his newly won IC title against Curtis Axel. I pray to God that the Curtis Axel experiment is over. Please tell me that that's done. And he's not going to cut. Don't tell me that him winning or losing the IC title means he's going to get a main event push or anything stupid like that. I hope it's like, all right, we fucked up. We pushed the wrong guy. It's done. It's over. Please tell me that that's what's going on here. Although I do find it a little weird that, they had Big E Langston win the title. And this was so horribly managed because Curtis Axel is a guy that lost most of his matches while he was champion. And whenever it was a non-title match, you just knew he was going to lose. That's just the way it was. And then you had Big E Langston, who kind of failed upward to a title. He lost to Randy Orton. He lost to Alberto Del Rio. And this kind of thing is like, he was competitive against those good guys, or those upper tier guys, so let's give him the shitty belt. So, again, he kind of just failed upwards to a title. Not that I dislike Big E Langston. I think compared to most of the other muscleheads that they brought in, he's actually not that bad. I mean, comparing him to Ryback and Mason Ryan and Ezekiel Jackson and Luther Reigns and Heidenreich and a bunch of the other just generic muscleheads that they brought in over the years, Big E Langston really isn't that bad. I still think his finisher sucks, but, that's whatever. I'll take anybody over Curtis Axel. That's key. It's like anybody but Axel at this point. And hopefully, I keep saying hopefully maybe they'll restore some prestige to the IC title, but they never do. And they keep just keeping it in this directionless mess. The U.S. title's the same. I keep forgetting that Dean Ambrose is the champion. That's what it is, I guess. So at the end, it's like I really don't care about anything that goes on with the IC title. But if I were booking this, I would have had Langston go on a tear and win several matches in a row. I would have kept Axel Strong looking good as a champion and get some key wins. And then you do the title match at the pay-per-view, and then Langston wins the title. It's very basic, and it makes sense, but they don't usually do things that make sense. And if you didn't want to do the title change at the pay-per-view, at least do a different match. Because I'm just not interested in seeing Axel do anything. So if they had done like Big E Langston versus Dolph Ziggler or Damian Sandow or something, just anything different. Because no, Axel, just no. It's Curtis Axel. Just no. Once he lost the belt, that should have been the end of it. So Big E Langston's going to retain the title because I can't see Axel winning the title straight back. And that's hopefully that's the end of him because he's awful. But that's it. I talked way more about that match than I should have. Then we've got John Cena versus Alberto Del Rio for the World Heavyweight title. Now, again, like I said with the musical chairs, let's pretend that this is a match between two dynamic characters and is totally worth doing. Let's pretend that Alberto is not boring as fuck, and let's pretend that Cena is just the freshest babyface in the history of ever, and this is his first world title reign, so it's fresh and new and exciting. Let's just pretend. Of course, we all know that's not true, because Cena, I can't stand him, and Alberto Del Rio, if he gets another heel run with a belt, I'll hang myself, because I can't stand him. It's boring. I don't care. And I don't care who wins this match. It doesn't matter, because you either get happy-go-lucky Super Cena winning all the fucking time again, or you get Alberto Del Rio on another stale, dull run that doesn't go anywhere. But again, let's forget all of that. Let's pretend that this match was a good idea and that both characters are super totally interesting and totally strong. This match has no drama. And the reason it has no drama is because you already told this story. What was the story last month when Cena came back? It was Cena's hurt, he's coming back, can he beat Alberto Del Rio while he's hurt? That was the story you did last month. What's the story this month? Can Cena defeat Alberto Del Rio while his arm is hurt? It's the same fucking thing. The only difference is that Cena's already the champion because he's already accomplished this goal. He's already overcome the odds once before. There's no drama here. And in between the two pay-per-views, Cena had Damian Sandow beat the ever-living shit out of him, attacked his arm even more, and Cena still won. And then Cena went on to face the Real Americans in a handicap match, and he beat him in a 2-on-1. There's no drama. There's no reason for me to think that John Cena is going to lose this match. It would be like, and I used this comparison on WE Forum's message board, and people seem to like it, so I'm going to use it here because it makes sense to me. It would be like if an Empire Strikes Back. Try to imagine this. Let's say if in Empire Strikes Back, Vader cuts Luke's hand off. And then Luke comes back and kicks Vader's ass anyway. Let's say, cutting his hand off meant nothing. Luke came back and just beat the shit out of Vader. And then, after leaving the Carbonite Chamber or wherever, Luke runs into Boba Fett and beats the shit out of him and gets Han back. And that's the ending to Empire. Let's pretend that happened. And then we get into Return of the Jedi, and it's like, you must face Darth Vader again, and you have to do it with only one hand, just to keep it the same as last time. Would anybody honestly fear for Luke's safety in that case? Because it's like, dude, he already beat Vader with one hand. There's no drama. What's the drama? You took the drama and you threw it right out the window. And that's what we have here. Cena was hurt last month. He beat Alberto anyway. He was hurt when he faced Sandow. He won anyway. And he was hurt when I guess he wasn't selling the injury when he faced the Real Americans, but he still beat two guys at once by himself. But, okay, he's overcoming the odds. Okay, sure. At what point does Cena become the odds? It's like, fuck. And this whole arm injury thing, it meant about as much as Peyton Manning having a hurt ankle. It meant nothing. It changed nothing. Peyton Manning still goes on a fucking tear. John Cena, he still beats everybody while his arm is injured, so who gives a shit? And one of the best injuries I ever saw in wrestling was Diamond Dallas Page when he had the injured ribs, and he sold it for like a year or however long it was. But it would actually play an outcome in matches. He would lose because of his injury. He wouldn't always lose, but the injury would cost him matches, in addition to just DDP selling it like mad and just making it work. So the injury actually meant something in that case, because it could play an outcome in DDP losing, and cause DDP to lose. So far that hasn't been the case with Cena, so why should I care? And I have no reason to think that Cena is going to lose this match. The only thing that could make me possibly think that Cena could lose is like, well, Alberto lost last month, so he's got to win this month, so it'll balance out, which, fuck logic. It doesn't matter if it makes sense or not. They might do it just to do it, just to give Alberto his win back, and it doesn't really matter. But, okay, what the fuck ever. Cena overcomes the odds and keeps the title. That's what I think is going to happen, so why should I think any different? They've done nothing in the story to make me think any different. And that's what I mean when I say this match has absolutely no drama, because I'm not fearful that Cena might lose. I'm not, in any way... or it doesn't even work, because I hate Cena, so it doesn't even work the other way, where I'm like, ooh, this guy might beat him, because his arm is hurt, and oh my god, they might do it. No, because A, I don't like Alberto as a heel, and B, it's just the way they built the story. I have no reason to feel like the arm is going to be any kind of hindrance to John Cena. It's like, sure, yeah, he's going to fucking win anyway, because he's fucking John Cena. It doesn't fucking matter. So that's that. Count on Cena retaining the title, I would think. And then you have Big Show versus Randy Orton for the WWE title, which I actually don't have that much of a problem with this match. I know a lot of people are like kind of rolling their eyes at it, but it's like, no, they built the story up for months, and some people are complaining that Daniel Bryan got pushed down, and like, I'm fine with it because I like the Wyatt's idea, and it'll give Bryan something to do in the meantime while, but to build him back up to the title and give him a bit of a journey back to the title. I don't know what they're going to do, but for right now, I'm fine with it. I think Orton would have to win. I can't picture Big Show winning the title, but then again, they've had so many screwy finishes the last few pay-per-views, who knows? But count on Orton winning, and actually, I don't have a huge problem with this match. I'm not overly excited for it, but I don't mind it taking place. But yeah, that's pretty much the whole Survivor Series card, I think, or at least all that they've announced so far. And that's pretty much all I have to say about it. It's just kind of, nothing. They had that one really cool match with the 6-on-6, and they decided to do it on Raw instead of doing it at the pay-per-view, so that pretty much kind of killed my interest in the pay-per-view. I'm kind of just like, whatever, I'll read the results later and, save my money, and that'll be that. But, yeah, that's the Survivor Series preview, but I do have another video planned for this weekend. I'm actually going to film it right after I'm done filming this one, so yes, I will be wearing the same shirt. Don't worry. I do bathe, and I do wash my clothes, I promise. It's just that production schedules has forced me to do that, forced me to do it this way. So, but yeah, that's my Survivor Series preview, and I'm going to have another video up this weekend, so until then, I will see you all later.